going on, Jerome's? It's a beautiful Saturday morning. Birds are chirping and stuff, and it's time for another Vikings news dump. Yesterday was a top 10 weather day in the great state of Minnesota. It was like 79, 80, sunny, no humidity, no bugs. Gorgeous out. So my kids enjoy playing water fights. Like when it gets warm out. So set up the sprinkler system, set up the slip and slide, and also we got these. We got these like dollar store super soakers, but they're actually pretty good. Actually not bad at all. Also, like the little like foam pump things, which turn into like a water cannon. Those are pretty good too. Now, when I play, I don't play. All right, so I built a elevated fortified position, complete with a water source, so unlimited ammunition, and then like my stupid kid. My stupid kid's just like charging the position with like their little pistol. Please, child, please, come on, man. Anyways, so the Vikings potentially could finally add a interesting new uniform because of the new third helmet rule in the NFL. And W Design, buy or sell, the CT ESPN rumors on the Vikings whiteout jerseys are true. So far, CT ESPN has been like 7 on 7 leaks. Now, CT ESPN, Antonio Brown, loosely is still associated with Antonio Brown. Now, a lot of his reports not so much, where it's like, oh, Justin Jefferson getting traded to the Chargers. No, but jersey leaks, they've actually been pretty good, and like they called the Giants jersey leak about a month ahead of time, so a little bit of credence there. Now, looking at these, what are those? Now, initially we just saw the Unis on the right. All right, so it just like, all right, so white and silver and purple. It kind of looks like Northwestern adjacent. So Sports Illustrated Will Raggets will be super excited. Thomason will be super excited. Our guy, Fadio Dedebo will be super excited. But nah. But once you see it modeled, W Design did a phenomenal job here. Also, I feel like something that the USFL gets right is the aesthetic. Everyone's wearing visors. The NFL, the No Fun League, you have a deal with Oakley. Everyone should be wearing dark visors. It's so stupid because there's a couple things that are very stupid about the league still. Number one, there's still, outside of my cause, my cleats, there's still cleat color rules, right? So all these awesome custom cleats that our guy Mosh makes, like you only see them in pregame. In warm-ups. That's where all the pictures come from. Can't wear them in games. It's so stupid. But also the dark visors, not John Cena, like actually dark visors, because they've loosened things up, respect, but I mean, it used to be like you had to have like a medical reason to wear a dark visor. So Gilbert Brown's like, I got glaucoma or something like that. I don't know. But I mean, this actually looks pretty good. Not gonna lie. So yeah, the whiteout, which the Vikings have done over the last 2 years, still had that purple helmet, but with a new third helmet rule going all white, it looks kind of nice, man. And yeah, the Vikings haven't really deviated much from their OG uniforms. It's been kind of the same. So shaking things up a little bit. Also, the tease of dark mode. Love to see that, man. Also, something I'd love to see is the Vikings adding a 6th offensive rookie of the year. And, you know, everyone says it's going to be J.J. McCarthy. But what if it's what if it's Rouse? Walter Rouse, one time. Most offensive rookie of the year winners. Thursday Night Football put this up. Vikings with 5, a bunch of teams with 4, Cowboys, Rams, Lions, blah, 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 blah. So thinking back, can you name the 5? So the obvious ones, Randy Moss, 98, Adrian Peterson, 2007. But there's a couple from back in the day. So 1973, Chuck Foreman. That's just the U being the U. Spin Doctor, getting it on. 1976, Sammy White. I mean, the Vikings have been a franchise of amazing wide receivers. Yeah, Randy Moss, Chris Carter, Justin Jefferson, Jake Reed, Anthony Carter, Sammy White, Ahmad Rashad. I mean, come on, man. It's fantastic. 98, Randy Moss, of course. 2007, Adrian Peterson. Actually, that doesn't make sense. Also, 2009, offensive weapon, Percy Harvin, which running back, wide receiver. I mean, if Percy Harvin played in today's NFL, number one, he would be able to talk about his issues. He would be able to talk about his anxiety. He would be able to talk about him not sleeping before games, all that stuff, and everything would be out in the open, and he'd be fine. Because I feel like the NFL and society writ large have made big strides with mental health issues, right? And Percy Harvin could have got the help that he needed. Percy Harvin was special, man. I mean, Percy Harvin was just an absolute monster. Just, it's unfortunate. Next. So, also a monster. So, Cam Akers, the pride of Florida State, came over via trade last year as the Vikings were looking to get something going on the ground. Now, Akers, of course, had a lot of crossover with Kevin O'Connell with the Rams. And, you know, last year, he looked pretty good. Like, he didn't put up monster black and white stats, 138 yards on the ground, 3.6 yards per carry, and a touchdown. But he had one more rushing touchdown than Alexander Madison last year. And he just looked more explosive. Just looked a little bit better. Now, the Vikings' run game, especially the interior run game, had a lot of issues last year, but Akers unfortunately popped his other Achilles. He had just gotten over popping the other one in 2021, but he's looking to make a comeback, training at the training house at TCO Performance Center Bar and Grill. Now, what's interesting is that training house is right next to the Vikings facility, and there's a lot of non-Vikings who train there. I mean, it's a world-renowned, world-class facility, and also Cam Akers, the picture on the right, I didn't know that they got the aggro crag from Nickelodeon Guts. That's pretty damn awesome, man. Love to see it. But Akers has been putting out a lot of videos. He is a free agent. He did have an expiring deal with the Vikings, and I think it is a spot where they're going to let Cam Akers get to 100%. And it might be a spot where he's unsigned throughout OTAs, which are coming up, and mandatory minicamp, which is also coming up, as well as the 6-week interregnum break before the start of training camp. And the Vikings, so besides adding Aaron Jones, who basically just swapped out with Madison, they didn't really do anything, right? So they didn't sign any other running backs. They didn't draft a running back. They didn't bring in any UDFA running backs either. So Jones, Chandler, C.J. Ham as the fullback, the captain, King Kene, Dwayne McBride, last year's 7th-round pick from UAB, Blazer. I feel like in preseason that might have been his first pass blocking rep ever, because that's just how the UAB offense was, man. And then Myles Gaskin, the do-it-all veteran. So it could be a spot, too, where they're monitoring Akers. Obviously, he's in-house, which is super interesting because he doesn't live here. But the Vikings are having him close. They're keeping an eye on him, and it could be a spot where he gets 100%, 1-year prove-it deal, minimum, nothing guaranteed, and compete and go from there. But I like Cam Akers a lot, and if the Vikings did re-sign him, he'd be an easy guy to root for. Also rooting for is whoever the hell is going to start a quarterback, whether it's Darnold, the veteran, finally surrounded with talent around him and good coaching, or J.J. McCarthy, the rookie of the franchise. Do they kickstart my heart? And just go from there. But Vikes fan page, Sam Darnold is a betting favorite to start week 1 for the Vikings per DraftKings Sportsbook. Here are the odds. A couple jelly beans. Sling and Slam Darnold, minus 155. So you got to bet 155 jelly beans to win 100. Or J.J. McCarthy, plus 120. So if you bet 100 jelly beans, you get 120 back. So, I don't know. It's close. So starting week 1 specifically, I don't know. I'd like to see the odds. Who starts the most games overall in the season, because it could be a spot where Darnold starts the season, but maybe things go pear-shaped, maybe things go wonky the first 5 games, and some of it could be on Darnold's, maybe some not, but also McCarthy getting his feet wet, still getting a practice an extra 5 weeks, maybe he gets a run in those first 5 games and looks good, and then all of a sudden after the bye, he's in, man, and then starts the rest of the season. So it will be 12 games to 5. Something like that. I don't know. But week 1, I would shy away from it. Yeah, because, obviously we haven't had full team practice OTAs. There's no leaks. There's no information coming out publicly available that's going to sway the betting markets as people put in their jelly beans. But, shying away. Speaking of quarterbacks, so Vikes fan page put this together. This is cool. Former Vikings quarterback and current Miami Northwestern High School, which was his alma mater, took over as head coach. Ted Bridgewater came in to play quarterback for his team in a practice. You don't have to create all these massive plays. Just get the ball to your guys. And Teddy saying that line is going to piss off a lot of Vikings fans, because, that was Teddy's game. At Louisville, he wasn't a guy with the strongest arm in the world. He wasn't the biggest guy. He wasn't the fastest guy, but he would beat you with his mind. And I just remember like 2013 Louisville. Just every Thursday night, it seemed like Louisville was always playing like Florida State or other ACC schools, and it's just like he would just be dialed in. He would just lead comebacks and just like Teddy two gloves, more love, just chucking it up to Devontae Parker. Did you know Teddy played with Devontae Parker? Yeah, it's unfortunate because I liked the way he progressed his first 2 seasons. And he was primed to make a big leap in year 3. He added some good weight. He had some more velocity on his deep ball, and then his leg fell off. And it's just really unfortunate, man. Yeah, but what's amazing is that Teddy's career should have been done, just over finito. And I know people will say like, well, he was never a starter again, and blah 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 blah. That was a career-altering injury, much like the Lewisian injury. Actually, even worse. So Teddy basically tore every ligament that he had, and he had structural damage. That is a massive injury. So the fact that he even came back to be a backup and be a sought-after veteran backup for a number of years, I mean, that's pretty damn amazing. It's pretty damn amazing. So I also, Teddy is probably one of the most cerebral and high football IQ players out there. He was always going to beat you with his mind. He wasn't going to beat you with his arm talent. Like, he doesn't have an Anthony Richardson arm, but he's going to impart a lot of wisdom, so I'm glad that he's getting into the coaching game. And I think it's just a matter of time. I mean, eventually I feel like Teddy does have the temperament, and he has the offensive acumen that he will be like just an offensive guru in college football, or maybe slide up to the NFL. We'll see, but rooting for 5. Getting it done, man. There you go. Also, he was slicing and dicing those high school kids, by the way. Woo, woo. Hey, Teddy. Got better work in that defense, man. That's all. Speaking of defense, so the Wolves tomorrow better put the clamps on Jokic. Game 7 in Denver for all the marbles. And Ant hit in his say he puts out like 1 tweet per series. 9 more locked in, number 5, and 9 more wins, and the Wolves do hoist that Larry O'Brien trophy. And so Ant putting up the 7 could be the best or the worst thing, depending on what happens on Sunday. But I got faith, man. And the fact that I know that it's Minnesota and we're all into moral victories, whatever, but they did have a great showing in Game 6. Whooping some ass, making sure that, hey, last 3 games were ass. Thank you. It happens. But we don't have any quit in us, and we're going to take it to them, and we're going to win Game 7 just like we'd won in Denver, Games 1 and 2. That atmosphere is going to be electric. I can't wait to see what happens. Also, it's been a weird-ass series. Every single game has been an ass-whooping. Like, there hasn't been, like, a close competitive game. We'll see what happens in Game 7. Speaking of Wolves games, so Jordan Addison, among a bunch of other Vikings, sitting courtside, sitting in suites. So showing the love, and it's good to see, man. And also, with OTAs, a mandatory minicamp coming up, so a lot of guys are going to be in town. So some Western Conference finals, some NBA finals, courtside. But I would love to see Justin friggin' Jefferson and Jordan Addison and Kevin Garnett sitting courtside all together. Legends. Also, so I'm not a golf fan, and I'm not even sure with all the details, but the Scottie Scheffler being arrested in Louisville thing. Now the context is that it's a really unfortunate story because I believe a pedestrian was killed, and then there was a big police backup getting into the golf course. Scottie Scheffler was detained, trying to get onto the course, and so Twitter was made for moments like this because the jokes around Scottie Scheffler were just amazing. Like, it was an absolute masterclass. People are so funny. People are so damn creative, and it's just amazing, man. Again, I don't even follow golf. Before yesterday, I couldn't even pick out Scottie Scheffler from a lineup. Like, the only golfers I know are Tiger Woods, John Daly, because he's my spirit animal, Arnold Palmer, who has that cocktail, or the non-alcoholic cocktail, as well as Ben Hogan, nailed it. Who else? Oh, Rory McIlroy sucks. Or no, is he good? I don't know. Oh, an inside trader, Phil Mickelson. Him and Billy Walters doing some business. I don't know, man. But yeah, the whole thing about this is like, I don't know. Like Jokes were like Scottie Scheffler, Prism Mike. Also, his mugshot was already automatically on T-shirts. I feel like that's the business you got to be in, where if you can have the manufacturing process where you can get very quick turnarounds and fast shipping, if you can get a T-shirt in the hands of someone the next day after some touchstone cultural event, that's gonna make dough. Because I feel like screen printers, like it takes a while, but I don't know. Maybe we'll start a business. So there you go. Anyways, that's it. Vikings news dump on this beautiful Saturday. You guys are the best. You know what to do. Skull production value.